let's provide the solution to the problem on the board very quickly. Sit back and learn. Okay, we have x plus 4 to the power of 4 equals 16. One thing you should know is that when you're solving a problem, you're expected to have as many solutions as the power of the problem. So now that we are having the power of 4, we are to have 4 solutions. That is, if you want to solve everything into detail, you want to get the real solutions and you also want to get the complex solutions. So let's dive into this. Okay, so the first thing I want to do from here is to take the square root of both sides. So if I take the square root, then I have x plus 4 to the power of 4. You know, when you're taking square root, right, it is the same thing as the number or the term being raised to 1 over 2. So square root of x plus 4 to the power of 4 is x plus 4 to the power of 4, then everything to the power of half. I hope that is understood. Now, this is on the right hand side. We will have plus or minus, then we have square root of 16. Now, from here, this will go here how many times? 2 times, right? So this means we have x plus 4 to the power of 2 equals plus or minus square root of 16 is 4. Okay, this is very simple. Now the next thing I'm going to do is this. I am going to expand this and equate to this. Very quickly, I will expand this and equate it to this. So if I expand this, it means I have x plus 4 in 2 places. X plus 4 equals plus or minus, we have 4, right? Now, x times x will give us x squared plus x times 4, that will be 4x, plus 4 times x, we have 4x, plus 4 times 4, we have 16, and everything is equal to plus or minus 4. Now, let's add this middle term here. So we have x squared plus 8x plus 16 equals plus or minus 4. Now, this means that we're going to have two equations. One will be positive on the right and the other negative. So let me clean from here and then we'll continue working. Okay, so the one that we'll deal with first is a positive one. So that means we have x plus 8x plus 16 equals 4. Remember, I'm going to go back to the negative. So from here, this is x squared. From here, what do we do? Our x squared plus 8x plus 16 minus 4 is now equal to 0. And this is a quadratic equation. This is quadratic. We can still reduce this. So we have x squared plus 8x plus 12 equals 0. So let me remove this now. Okay, so now let's continue. The question is, what method would you use to solve this quadratic equation? You look at it very well. If it's something you can factorize, you factorize. And if you cannot, you will use the formula method. So let's look at this very quickly. Okay, to avoid thinking and all of that, you can decide to use um, the formula method because sometimes it's difficult to think out the factors, right? Now, if you want to use the formula method for this, we'll have the formula x equals minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac. Then we divide everything by 2a. So it is your duty to know your a, your b, and your c. Okay, so now our a is 1, the coefficient of x squared, our b is 8, and our c is 12. Let's substitute into the formula right away. Now x will now be, in place of minus b, write minus 8. Then plus or minus, open this, b squared becomes 8 squared minus 4 times 1 times 12, right? Because a is 1 and c is 12. So we divide all of that by 2 times 1, which is still, it will still give us 2, right? It will still give us 2. Now our x will be minus 8 plus or minus square root of 8 squared is 64 minus 4 times 1 times 12 will give us 48, right? Then by we divide this by 2, right? Okay, so we'll go straight into it. Do not take the square root of 64 before taking the square root of 48. So what you have to do is to subtract. Okay, so you're going to subtract before you can take the square root. So now our x will be minus 8 plus or minus square root of 64 minus 48 is 16. So we now divide this by 2. We divide this by 2. Now, let me finish it here. So from here now, we have x to be equal to root minus 8 plus or minus square root of 16 will give us 4. Then we have this over 2. Now, this is a 2-in-1 solution because of the plus or minus. So now our x will be minus 8 plus 4 over 2, or minus 8 minus 4 over 2. Now x is equal to minus 8 plus 4 will give us minus 4 over 2, or for this, minus 8 minus 4 will give us minus 12. Then we have over 2, minus 12 over 2, so that x is equal to this divided by this will get minus 2, or this divided by this will get minus 6. So from here, we have two solutions. Okay, we have x to be equal to minus 2 or x equals minus 6. But trust me, we left out one equation at some point. So we're going back to that equation so that we can get additional 2 more solutions. Let's go there. Okay, so I will clean this. I will wipe this. Okay, so let me do away with this as well. So now to get the next equation, remember we had plus or minus on the other side. So this time around, we used negative 4. Okay, so from here again, we are expected to have 2 more solutions. Now, we have x squared plus 8x plus 16 plus 4 equals 0. How did I get the 16 plus 4? This is because the negative 4 will come to the left to become positive 4. So now our x squared plus 8x plus this is 20 is now equal to 0. So the next thing is, what method do we use? Because this is still a quadratic equation. So what method do we use to deal with this? Now, if you do not have any factors in your head, use the formula method like I always do. Okay, so now the formula is x equals minus b plus or minus, we have square root of b squared minus 4ac. Everything is over 2a. Now x is equal to, our b is 8, so we write minus 8. Then plus or minus b squared, that would be 8 squared as well. Then minus 4 times a is 1 and c is now 20. Okay, c is now 20. Then we divide all of this by 2, because 2 times 1 will still give us 2. Now our x is minus 8 plus or minus 8 squared is 64 minus 4 times 1 times 20 is 80. Then we divide this by 2. Now, if you watch very well, we are going to have negative square root, and that's what will lead us to complex solution. Let's go there. Our x will now be minus 8 plus or minus, then 64 minus 80 will give us minus 16. So we divide this by 2. Okay, so we continue from here. Let me clean from the top. Let me clean from the top. Okay, so from here now, x will be equal to, we have minus 8 plus or minus, we have square root of 16. I want to pick out this negative from here first. So we have square root of 16 multiplied by square root of negative 1. This way, we can press calculator to get square root of 16. Then we divide by 2. Our x will now be minus 8 plus or minus square root of 16 is 4. Then multiply by I, we divide by 2. Since we can't get the square root of negative 1 with calculator, we believe it's imaginary, so we write I for the square root of negative 1. Now, from here, our x is equal to, we have minus 8 plus or minus 4 times I, that will be 4I. Then we divide by 2. Okay, so I can clean this now. Now, to proceed, our x will now be equal to minus 8. By the way, 2 can go into 8 and it can go into 4. So 2 into minus 8 will give us minus 4 plus or minus the same 2 into 4, that will be 2. Then we have I. So from here we have a 2-in-1 solution. X is equal to minus 4 plus 2I, or minus 4 minus 2I. So from here again, we have 2 additional solutions. Thank you for watching. If you have not subscribed to my channel, subscribe.